Okay, here we go.
I wish I could have
Hello,
heard.
everyone, and welcome. Shut up, Ben. God damn it. Fuck. Okay, I'm starting over. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just so drunk right now.
No, don't start over. That was really good.
Okay, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the PCP. I'm the best guy ever, your host today, and we're joined by all our lovable companions. Hypocrite, for example.
Hello.
Ben Saint is here.
Hey.
Tom Oliver. Hello.
I'm passionate about money.
Yes, agreed. Lethal Aurora Mage as well.
I woke up an hour ago. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. And today...
This is not helping, guys.
I'm contractually obligated to say that I will occasionally read some DMs from Devu, who is not here, but he wants to speak. He wants to speak through me.
Is that so?
He speaks through me like the spirits of my ancestors.
We're all part of the collective. Yeah.
Oh
okay,
God, I'm being
that's cool.
subsumed into the collective. That's oh God.
Subsumed,
right.
Yes. All right,
And
shut
so,
up, Ben.
let's just clarify. So our topic today is doing it for the money versus doing it for the passion. You know, art or jobs or any of that shit.
And I'd like to say, before we get into the meat of that question and what it means, that topic, I have a rant that is related to it. Because it's something that has made me want to die today, and I'm going crazy.
No.
I've been going crazy all day, all yesterday. So I'm just going to rant about it for a bit.
Okay.
So I have a Twitch channel. I do streams, every so often, and it's fun. It's like I get on there, I have my system set up, so it's like I just turn on a few things and then I'm away. I'm going. I'm playing games. I'm talking.
What's your name on there?
It's a Twitch TV / Give and Take, and
Nice,
whatever.
nice.
But it's
right.
really small. It's like gets a maximum of 20 viewers on a good day. It doesn't make me any money, but I do it anyway because it's fun to do, and it's just a nice little a weekly thing or a bi-weekly twice a week sort of thing. I do that and it's fun and it's all whatever, and I've heard that you can, as a Twitch streamer, get money if you've got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and people who donate and stuff, and it's all cool. I don't mind. I'm just doing it without any idea, any expectations of ever making any money. It's just fun. One day, yesterday, I get a notification in the little side thing saying, "You are now eligible for our partner program," which is something I never thought. I thought you needed like 10,000 subscribers and a bunch of views. I don't have that many views because I don't get that many viewers each stream, but it's enough apparently. So I'm like, oh shit, of course I will do this. So I go in there and I try to do this thing with setting up my two-factor authentication in order to get access to the partner program, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I go and research it. I go and spend hours of my life just researching what's going on, what's wrong. Like, I do all the different things you could do with a mobile phone. I did all the different country codes and getting like the zero at the front and getting rid of that and truncating it at different points. Not truncating it, but like adding spaces at different points.
What are you, an elephant? Truncating it? Come on now.
Yeah. Good joke to lighten the mood.
Nailed it. Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's really the customer support is fucking doesn't exist. This issue I'm having doesn't seem to exist. It every time I look into a Q&A or an FAQ or whatever, I see like part 1, do this. All right, I've done that. Part 2, do this. All right, and then part 3 is just like do that, but the part 2 didn't work, and there's no rule for what you do when part 2. Like, everyone expects part 2 to work, and if it doesn't work, nobody knows what to do. And I'm like, fuck.
Me and Nate have a similar kind of problem right now with like the AdSense money that we made on TBAP. It's like it's there, like there's money in the account, but like it's been sitting there for months now, like months and months, and like
for years, really.
Yeah,
it's been there for years,
and like we have tried a few times in the past to like figure out how to get them to send it somewhere, and we have been thus far unsuccessful. And
It has to reach a certain amount.
It's over that. It's over that. It's well over that.
It's over that.
That's weird.
I don't know. Like, Nate's
Okay,
tried
well,
more
you know
than
what?
I have, but
I'm actually fairly well along to fixing that problem. I believe that I've got that worked out.
okay,
but that's not the end of the AdSense nightmare.
But it's still fucked that it was so hard. Like
it is so unbelievably difficult to get any kind of AdSense support. It doesn't exist. It does not exist.
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah, you mean
Yeah.
like
And
customer
by the way,
support.
can I just expand and say that not only has that been an issue going on for years, but just recently, I've been trying for, like, Best Guy Ever's existed for almost 2 years, or maybe over 2 years now or something, and there's been money there. It's been well over the threshold for most of that time. I've been trying to get that money out, and I have faced constant, agonizing stoppages preventing me from doing anything. Just recently, I thought that, okay, well, apparently one of the problems is that you can't have more than one AdSense account per person. You're simply not allowed to do it. So what I'd do was, okay, I'll just connect that account to the TBAP one. That's in my name. I'll just put it there. I'll be able to get the money through that. I believe I may have just lost all money earned in Best Guy Ever up to that point, or possibly forever into the future. I don't know, and there are no answers as to how to fix this. And that wouldn't be that big a deal, because that's only a whole bunch of hundreds of dollars. That would be really great to have, but I can live without that. What I'm more concerned about is the fact that I'm also trying to do a similar thing with the Procrastinators channel, which has significantly more money sitting in it, and it's not just my money, it's everybody's money. And I would really like that to get to people, but fucking AdSense will not tell me how to do it. There's just no way to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to sign up to get the money, and there is no help. What do I do? No one knows.
people do it. Like I know people like. Let's be straight. Let's be straight. There's some real fucking knuckle dragging retards out there that somehow managed to set up a YouTube account, shit out some Let's Plays, and then make money on it. How are they capable? Because it's a fucking nightmare
know.
that I haven't tried nearly as hard as you have to unscramble it. I certainly can't do it.
The
and you're
specific problem-
I mean,
yeah.
we're both fucking college educated,
I'm a computer
dudes.
programmer professionally.
Yeah,
that is what
yeah.
I do. I know this shit. I know how to. I just today, by the way, coming soon to you, have worked out the kinks with setting up the Procrastinators iTunes channel. It's going to be up soon, folks. Just keep an eye out for it.
Amazing.
There'll be a link.
It's
going to be great.
at long last. But
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's not ready yet.
Yeah, it's bullshit how fucking complicated it is, and I don't understand. But before how complicated it is, I don't understand how like so many people are able to do it. Like it's been, I have never done it. I have never set up AdSense money. I tried to do it with the Ben Saint channel the other day.
Let me just
and
say,
I got
okay.
stopped by, I don't know, some step stymied me at some point, and I gave up. It was my tax information. It like, oh yeah, because my name.
I can help you with that probably.
Okay, well
I've
here's
been
the
over
fucking
that.
problem that I ran into. It was like, put in your tax information. I put in all my tax shit, but then like it said, like it auto completed my name to Ben Saint. But then down in the name category, it was like, okay, type your first name and last name, and I did, and it was like name must match. And I was like, but that's not my name. That's not my real name. So eventually,
Right.
so I was typing my real name, and it said it has to match. That's not okay. And finally, I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. And I just typed my name as Ben Saint, and you know what it said? It said name has to match. Even though I did.
Oh no.
I made it match, and it still didn't do it.
I don't understand any of this shit. Can I just say, as a last issue here, the problem I've been facing, maybe someone else can help. This is a desperate attempt to get someone to fucking help out in the audience or
Is this
anywhere
the
in
new
the world.
PCP bounty now that the
The
mascot
I will
guy
give you.
has
I
been-
will give you money out of my pocket if you can help me solve this problem. My personal money, I will do it. This has been a headache for years, literally years. One of the problems I've been facing is this whole thing where you can't have more than one account. Guys like Mumkey easily are able to tie, all their different channels to get their AdSense money to like their main account. Like that's not a problem because they're all attached to one Google account. The problem is I have had to make multiple Google accounts for things that involve different people, myself, and then Procrastinators with everybody. So if you know how to fix this, please, for the love of God, help me. And that's it.
right.
Let's move on to the main topic.
My rant wasn't over. That was
Oh,
you
I'm
just sort
sorry.
of interrupted
I had no
me.
idea.
But that's all like relevant. That's all the sort of stuff. Like
Okay.
that's what I was going through. But it's like, for you and all that stuff, that's like important money. That's like PCP money. That's AdSense for your channel and PCP.
Right,
that's like
right.
big amounts of money for people that
Well,
people need to have.
I mean, it's
and I've been
money.
going through. Well, yeah, it's
We're working
bigger.
on it,
It's
Brandon.
bigger
We're
than
working on it.
it's bigger than the literal $0 I would make off Twitch, which is my point. Like the fact that like I would have been fine never making money on Twitch, but the fact that they said I could potentially get money
Right.
led me on this this 2-day path. Still hasn't been fixed. I have to now wait for 24 hours for this account to get reset itself so that I can input my number again, and maybe it will work. I don't think it will, but maybe it will. I don't know. But it's just like agony. Like it just eats away at me. Like just thinking about the fact that I could be making like $1 every 2 years on this Twitch account. The fact that there's a revenue stream that is locked away from me
You gotta
at all
open up.
really
you gotta
just
open up those passive
just-
revenue streams.
it just really makes me think, because like I do this Twitch stream for the passion, and now that there's money,
It's
it
ruined.
makes me annoyed that it just doesn't work, and now everything is fucked, and I'm really angry, and I want to kill everyone, and myself included, and I hate that money has done this to me, and it's shit. Anyway,
that's a perfect segue to some of the definitions of money over on UrbanDictionary.com
Oh, thank God.
that I
Thank
pulled
God
out.
for this
Hang on,
segment.
before you do that, I just
sure.
wanted to add with Twitch TV/Give and Take. If you want to go, you can go to that.
Everyone go watch. I'm on there sometimes. We play Minecraft, or is that Munchies? I can't remember. No, it's yours, and it's super fun. I love it. We should do that more. We didn't do it yesterday, and I'll hate you forever for it. But anyway,
You didn't say anything.
That's true. I sat there all night with my arms crossed and my brow furrowed, staring at the screen. Why aren't they inviting me to play Minecraft? Why isn't anyone fucking inviting me to play? That's me every day. And there's a whole bunch of definitions, by the way, for money over on Urban Dictionary. So I'm going to cherry pick the ones I like. So definition 4 of money is the root of all evil. Where's another one? Number 3, here we go. Paper and coinage that can be used to exchange for goods and services. More of it equals power and chicks. And number 2 is a good one. Money, that which allows lazy people to do stupid things without painful consequences, thus keeping them forever stupid. I know Devu would not appreciate these definitions.
He might
as
appreciate the second one. I
might
thought that
appreciate
was
the second
pretty
one. That's
fair, pretty
I agree.
even-handed.
Let's go with that one. That works. So I guess let's just get into our thoughts on. I mean, we're all creators here, right? We're all art kind of guys.
Well,
so there's always a struggle going on. Well, not Ben,
Yeah,
obviously,
I mean,
but everybody
yeah,
else.
I have
The rest of us have artistic integrity of a sort.
Yeah.
And so there's always the struggle of trying to decide what's appropriate to make for what you do, like revenues, fucking avenues for revenues is what I was trying to say. And I mean, guys like me, I'm really trying to
Can
do
everyone
it
hear the
professionally.
fucking tractor out my window?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, maybe it's fine. Here, I'll just kill myself. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
That'll sort that out.
I know not everybody thinks of like doing their art professionally, like to support themselves, like Mage, for example. At least it doesn't look like you're making particularly strident moves to try to like support yourself entirely with your art.
She did start,
or maybe I'm wrong.
She did start a Patreon at patreon.com/lethalaurora Tragically underfunded at the moment.
What's your goal with that, Mage? Let me just ask you. What do you hope to get out of your Patreon money? Just some extra spending money, just as to get as compensation, or are you looking to be professional with it and support yourself entirely? Not with just Patreon, but in general, all your stuff, all your earnings.
Oh gosh, it's a complicated question. Let me quickly think about it. Well, I've been debating on getting Patreon for like a while. I actually made the Patreon account like several years ago, back when I was doing pony stuff, but I never got around to actually implementing it because I kind of felt bad for charging people for like the shit I do.
Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that later. Feeling bad about charging people for stuff willingly, but okay, we'll get into that.
Yeah, so, but right now I kind of need the extra spending money just on like better food for myself, and yeah, sometimes I might need extra spending money because that's the only job I have, kind of. But I'm not like in particular dire need or anything.
I don't know, Mage. You say that you need the money for better food. That honestly sounds pretty dire.
I mean, I'm still getting food. It's just not very good food.
Well, maybe if she didn't buy as much Pocky and Ramune from her local anime shop, she'd be in the fucking green. Come on.
I wish I had an anime shop.
I understand, Mage. I know that a significant chunk of your income needs to go to patreon.com/BenSaint every month.
Of course.
So it has to come out as something.
That's right.
But yeah, like I'm not in like super dire need, so I'm not like advertising like, hey guys, please give me all of your mons right now, or else I'm gonna die tomorrow.
I'll say it. Everyone give Mage your muns, please.
No, it's okay. Like I'm giving an option for people who do want to support me, and that's fine. They don't have to. I don't want to pressure people into doing it, because then I'll feel really responsible about doing content and stuff, which I really don't want to pressure myself into doing, because then I'll just start procrastinating and hating myself.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Every procrastinator hates himself intensely. That's true.
I want to talk about that, because like this month on Hypocrite, I haven't made a single video for the channel for Patreon for April, so I'm not charging anybody for April. I haven't really thought about, I've thought about the fact that I'm not charging anybody, I'm not making a video, but I'm more concerned about the fact that I'm not putting out a video in April. The charging people money is just like a thing that I don't think about as much, because when I feel bad and procrastinate, it's because I don't want, the video to not be good enough. I don't want, but it's not because people are paying for it. It's just because I don't want to make bad videos. I don't want to make like videos that I don't think are good enough, and that's why I don't make anything. Like, there's like there's a different thing. Like, I don't know how the rest of you feel about whether it's charging the people money for it that makes you feel bad and procrastinate, or whether it's the quality of the thing itself. Whether it's both. It's probably both. Actually, I don't know.
I definitely.
Let me state my philosophy on that in general. Yeah, you can come in after this, but like I just want to state my philosophy about Patreon in general. I sincerely believe that when it comes to Patreon specifically, any money that you get out of the people willingly, you can't lie and tell them that you're going to do something and not do it. That's not good. But whatever content you provide legitimately that people are willing to give you money for, I think I would find it ridiculous to criticize anyone for doing so. It's not that if you make, like shitty art and people pay for it, it's not like I'm going to like the art. I just find absolutely no moral objection to like you getting any amount of money that people find worth in that. I would be very skeptical.
No matter what, people have opted into it.
People have opted in hardcore to support you on Patreon.
You can't swindle someone on Patreon.
That's right.
Unless
you lie.
I don't think you know. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, even if, let's say, you are releasing a bunch of stuff on Patreon, then you do a hard left and you do something different, like, people can just say, I don't want to pay for that, and they don't have to.
That's right. They have the option at any time. It is your responsibility as a patron to say, okay, this content is no longer good. I'm not going to support them anymore. That's you. That's up to you entirely.
Yeah.
There is no, what can the creator do to help with that? Never change their content? No.
I've never heard of a patron being like, you fucking cheated me. To anyone, but I have heard other people claim that others are cheating people with their Patreon.
You hear that with Kickstarter all the time.
Yeah,
but
I feel
not so much on Patreon.
That's more of a case of people being new to Patreon and not realizing that that, they do it, and then they get surprised when they realize they've been charged for stuff that they didn't really care about, and they forgot to set the cap, or because that was a thing for a while.
Forgetting to set your cap is a thing. But that's not on the person you're pledging to.
Yeah,
it's totally on you.
Right.
Yeah, it is on the person. But I feel like the small instances in which patrons have gotten mad at creators is because it was a new thing, and then now people know a bit more about it, so that they know, well, I can just leave. So that's what I'm gonna do.
It's a bit similar to getting mad at sort of like the owner. I'm a member at a gym, and when I joined this gym. It's a fantastic gym. I absolutely love it. And it's got all this wonderful stuff. But like I was very clear because I've had a lot of experience with different gyms to ask like, okay, tell me about the joining fees, the leaving fees, like the monthly payments. Like, is that ever going to go up? Like, what is the like at what points am I allowed to leave the plan? It's like I've got a yearly plan, so if I cannot leave before that point, like you just have to understand the situation you're getting into and know that like what fees you can expect to see, and just make your as an aware consumer or customer or supporter, you just have to be savvy about the costs and about like any issues that could come up. It's your responsibility. Okay.
Okay, so like I have people pledging to me. Thank you guys, by the way, if you're listening. And so I made a video and I charged people for it. And like they said they're only gonna like charge them at the beginning of the month. So if they wanted to, they could back out. But like if it was a private video, which it isn't. But if it was a private video, they could have seen it and then back out with. And
I don't know. I think
would they be charged?
No, I think if the charge doesn't go through, it doesn't count as a payment. I think. Like
I mean, Mage, what you're asking for is if you had gated content that was behind like your Patreon that people had to be a patron to get, could someone, because you get charged at the beginning of the next month, could someone come in, say they're going to pledge, watch the stuff, and then bail before the money goes through? Is that the question?
Yeah.
You can do that. I've had people do that to me before.
That's terrible.
It's dumb. The way to get around it, Patreon, in response to that, they have a new thing now, which I suggest everybody do, is when you can set up your account, you can set it so every new patron's automatically charged as soon as they sign up. So like if they sign up for a $50 pledge, instead of waiting till the end of the month to charge them, they're instantly charged for that as soon as they sign up. So
that's the way to do it. If the PCP one
over.
Isn't like that, we should adjust it to be like that immediately.
Mine is like set up per video rather than per month, though.
Right.
Well,
so the same
then
thing.
you just got your own system. Then.
Because the way Patreon works, even if you're set up per video, instead of charging as they come out at the end of the month, they'll collect all of the content. So if you upload 4 videos, they're going to charge people 4 times, or attempt to charge people 4 times at the end of the month, and then give it to you a week later.
Yeah, but like, so they're going to charge at the end of the month rather than whenever I post the videos.
Correct.
Guys, I don't know how much we should go down the rabbit hole of Patreon minutia here.
I was waiting to say I think we've gotten a bit far afield of the topic of.
I was just curious.
Sure. Not that
Mitch,
I don't
we can
think this
keep talking about it
reasonable.
after the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Teach me, senpais.
doing it for the money versus doing it for the love of the game. I guess I have a relevant topic to say. I've been doing like, all right. I've been pretty slow. I've been pretty slow with my main content recently, and I have a couple of reasons for that. One of it is like personal stuff because I've been like getting ready to move and all that. And the other is just like I've just been focusing my efforts. I've been focusing on that, and it's been terrible. It's been terrible, and I can't wait for that nightmare to be over.
Almost done.
I'm so close. Oh god. But I took a little bit of commission work, and it's just I found that it's so hard. Like drawing commissions is so hard.
It is the fucking
because
thing ever.
Like no matter what the commission is, like even if what they're asking for is like fine, like I don't know, when you're making something yourself and you're drawing yourself, you're doing it, you're like I don't know, like you're doing it in accordance with like what you want to see, but like
right
when it's a commission, when you're doing it for someone else, for the, when you're doing it for the money, I guess, as opposed to for the passion, it's like every step of it is like this slog, and like I don't know.
Right.
The more I sketched out this image that this person wanted, and then I was like, okay, that sketch looks pretty good. It's pretty rough, whatever. It's got most of the stuff, and then I started finishing it, and like finishing it was such a nightmare because it's like I worked because I had to like put in more details and stuff, and like this is not how I would design this thing, and like the more I worked at it, like the more it resembled what I had been asked to do, but the less I liked it because I was going against my like natural instincts. It was such an uphill battle. Commissions are just such like psychologically such an uphill battle, and it's just so much less good.
That's similar to like when I first started my Patreon. I had reward tiers, some of which were like drawing a thing, for a person, and I found those really difficult as well because, well, mostly because I was lazy, but also because I didn't like having to do something at all. So I don't do rewards because, like, it really is exactly doing something for the money. Like, I'm doing this because you pledged because there's a reward. I'm not doing this because I would have done it.
Yeah.
And that's why on my Patreon now there's no rewards at all, which is probably making me lose a bit of money, but I think it's worth it. Because I don't like having that hanging over me.
I know that I owe like a handful of people some reward art that like I have been sitting on for a while. And that is I'm gonna get to that, like, probably after the Nuzlocke end. I like that's like on my plate because I have to do that at some point because I feel terrible. I feel terrible owing people art. I feel like some of them have probably forgotten that I even owe them art in the first place, but I know I do, and I have to at least try. Like, I have to at least be like, hey, you still want this? Let's get this sorted out so I can feel like a person again.
It's really annoying. It's really weird when they forget and then you feel bad about it still. So you have to decide. Well, I could just forget about it, but I feel bad about it.
There
and
is
they probably,
at least
maybe they don't forget. Maybe they just don't say anything. They want to be nice. I don't know.
There is at least one person who I have explicitly emailed and been like, "Hey, I owe you some art because you gave to my, I think it was for my my GoFundMe. Like, what do you want?" Right. And they didn't answer, and I'm like, "Well, you're in the clear. Then you're in the clear. I think I've done all I can do."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did the same thing because when I started my Patreon way back in 2014, I had a tier where I just did commissions, and it was a nightmare because I had like 15 commissions to do all of a sudden overnight.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, great, I'm making money, but like I made the money to support the videos I was making at the time, but now I've given myself all of this like basically freelance work on top of the work that I was trying to fund in the first place. So I fucked myself over hardcore. It sucks, and all these pictures are fucking stupid. I don't want to do them anyway. Eventually what I just did is I just like people who weren't responding because it took me forever to get them done. So I was like, I just put out a big thing on Patreon. I was like, these are the people I have left to do. If you don't respond within 2 weeks, I'm knocking you off the list. And like half the people didn't respond. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, all right,
when it's something that someone else wants to see rather than what you want to be drawing, it's just harder. Like, it just makes it harder to do.
You know, this feeling you've been describing is exactly why I offer exactly 0 perks on my Patreon. Exactly 0. All that you get is that you get to feel support for Best Guy Ever, and you that I actually like that a lot. Yeah. It is completely ideologically pure. The only reason to
pure altruism at that point.
Yeah, the only reason to patron me is because you like the content and you want to support it. Because I make it very clear in my on patreon.com/bestguyever that the money goes to me being able to do this as a career. That's what my whole life is geared towards. That is the only goal I have in life. Yep. Being able to leave my job and do more of this shit as fast as possible.
Yeah, I don't have rewards either because like I don't produce that much content, and I feel like if I had rewards, I would spend more time working on the rewards,
which is bad for everybody. Which is bad for everybody.
Speaking of like the goal of like doing this as a living, I feel okay. Get on the subject of like money versus passion. I'll just lay out my belief on this subject, which I think everyone is probably going to agree with. I don't think anyone's going to find this too controversial. I don't care about money at all, except insofar as it lets me live the way that I want to live. So like, as long as I'm making enough money, like I need money up to the point that I have all my shit taken care of and I can do art. And then beyond that, it's all superfluous, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that, except some of us have standards of living that go slightly above, eating a discarded Pizza Hut out of the dumpster from behind the thing.
Well,
some of us buy our own Pizza Hut.
Well, I've had to get closer to that point. I've had to. I've lowered my standards of living. I'm not joking. Like I'm low. I've lowered my costs and I've lowered my expectations to like as low as they can possibly go because I just want to hit that equilibrium point where I'm making enough money that I can live and not have to do any other bullshit except make the shit that I want to make. And like anything that I could do to scrape more money out of my art or lower my fucking cost of living, like anything that gets me closer to there is worth doing. Like everything.
I respect that actually. I think
it's the only thing. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Right.
I agree completely.
The way I work is exactly that. Like, but the problem that comes with that is that I sort of go in and out of phases of certain things that I want to do. Like recently this month, instead of doing hypocrite videos, I did like a whole series of drawing Vriska, which is, it's I'm going to continue doing that. But then I was like, oh, you know what? My Little Pony started. I'm going to do a My Little Pony podcast with Jesse, and I was like, that's another thing. And then there's like vlogs and anything that isn't like a main channel video, because I have been working on one, but it's sort of like I have to play the whole game and take notes, and it's taking long, and it sort of drains me out, and I just want to do other stuff. I want to make other videos. I could have, if I worked on it, if I had the wherewithal, the passion, the drive to make a couple smaller videos on Hypocrite, then that would have been great for everyone. But I didn't, because I do it so much for the passion that if I don't have the passion, then I won't make any money, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I hate that about myself, because I do at least want something at the end of the month. But I don't know.
Devu chimes in, quote, "Life is like a video game and money is like points. I want to achieve fun and interesting goals while also seeing how high I can get my score. People in the stock market and billionaires and shit, I think this is their entire goal. Most of them seem to like making money way more than they like spending money."
That seems accurate.
He's living that gamified life. He's living the gamification dream.
Your passion is making money.
I would argue
it must become addicting at some point.
It's absolutely.
Sure.
I'm sure.
But I was going to say, in response to sort of Ben's point, and everybody and Gibbs as well, about wanting to achieve the equilibrium of lowering your standards to just like be able to do what you want. I would argue that I guess I wouldn't argue anything. I would put in that I have an additional sort of point in that equation, something that I feel should also be addressed, and that is, here comes Nate's quote, what is it, weird utilitarianism. I feel like there should be some like net gain from your life, or you should strive to achieve that.
There is no fucking such thing as like a gain. How the fuck do you measure that?
Nate,
there's lots of ways.
All right,
I know what you're gonna say is, does it get us closer to Starfleet?
Well, no, I was okay. No, there's
but
no
how,
need to bring
but how
up
do you
Starfleet.
fucking know?
You can gauge in your community.
Wait. There's a net gain.
I'll gauge your community
by purview of, already by the fact that we didn't exist before and now we exist, and some people like what we made.
Right.
Like, that's already a net gain. So you're talking about a big, long-term
some people
gain.
would argue that isn't even
like
a gain,
legacy,
but
maybe.
Yeah. Yes. I am operating from the standard. I fully admit I am operating from a human-centric utilitarianism standpoint. Yes, that's where I'm coming from.
But
so is it? But you're not talking that you want to have a legacy because you.
It's not about any individual person.
Ego. You're trying to give back to the community on a more macro scale.
I'm rooting for Team Human here. That's what I'm doing.
There's no standard of what is progress and what is a net.
It's hard to quantify.
That is absolutely untrue.
You're absolutely untrue.
There's so many ways we can all agree that the world gets better. Is the world better if we create a vaccine that eliminates a specific disease? Objectively, yes.
Oh my god.
Everyone
go out and invent a vaccine, I guess.
What is Ben? Is your point that I'm wrong? Because
my point is that you're fucking throwing out some fucking indefensible, unfalsifiable, crazy shit. We can't live.
Ben,
we cannot live according to the standards you were laying out because they're incoherent.
Ben, you're so dense here. All that is an example showing.
Get you. Ben, you'll get yours, dude. You'll get yours.
You are saying,
girls.
No, Gibbs, stop. Ben, you are saying that I am objectively wrong across this uniform view, and I'm showing one example to show how that's untrue. That's all I'm doing.
Your one example is so specific.
That's fine to
the
show that you are wrong about it all being objectively valuable.
Guys, we're getting off track. The point is Nate. Well, yeah, but you're just going in circles. You're never going to go anywhere with that.
Right.
The whole thing is that Nate wants his videos to lead to something greater than his videos in the long term of humanity, and that's
true.
He's just thinking way bigger than we are. I don't really
That's true. I admit it. I think bigger than everybody.
I just want to say,
I don't think that's like a necessarily better thing to do. I just think that that's what he does.
If
and
you're
I don't
an
give a
artist, so if you're a doctor, then okay, sure, you're creating vaccines, you're doing cancer research, you're adding to like the sum of human knowledge or something. That's fine. If relevant example to our discussion today, if you're a fucking artist, how do you measure whether your fucking shit has a fucking net gain on society?
Look, I would argue that every person intrinsically does it, whether they know it or not. They are trying to basically do exactly what I'm saying. They just aren't aware of it. Like, why does an artist create, like a big mural of like, Martin Luther King or inspiring people from their community? They do it because they want. Okay, go on, Tom. What?
This is my soundbite for the podcast. Art is a self-indulgent practice.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
I think even if I sit here and say I want to make a piece of art that says something relevant, the only reason I want to say that thing that's relevant is because I believe it and I want people to believe what I believe. So it's entirely a self-indulgent practice.
Well,
I will say that I'm just realizing this, that Nate, aside from his analysis videos, is not an artist per se. He doesn't make stuff self-indulgently in that way. He likes explaining why something is good. He likes explaining art more than he likes making
why
art.
Nate is right about something and why he is the best guy ever is incredibly self-indulgent.
Right, but I do that because I think that there is something valuable to be gained through that process.
Devu says, why does Nate always come to this? Nate, I also want videos to lead to something great, but I don't need to bring it up every goddamn week. That shit gets boring.
It's almost like that's kind of the core philosophy to everything else I do. It's almost like that, Devu. Wow, you're such a brilliant guy, Devu. You're so smart. Always making these incredible
I just want to make one more point about this subject. Like, Nate, I think that your logic is fuzzy here on two levels, because one, I think that everyone is going to disagree about what constitutes progress.
I agree.
And B, I think that it's going to be like even a really it's going to be really no matter what standard you choose, there's going to be cases where it's going to be hard to determine whether or not progress was actually made.
That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try or make an effort to get that
what
way.
I really want to understand, because this is the thing that's always like made it seem fuzzy, is that I don't know quite exactly what your plan is to make, like specifically what your videos and what your plan is in life to make a change for the better. What do you want to happen due to your involvement in the universe? What do you want your impact to be based on what you're doing now and what you plan to do in the future?
Well, I fully admit, and there's really no other way that anyone can operate, that, like, I am approaching things from my perspective as what I think the right way to go is. And I have thought about it for a long time, and I legitimately hold these beliefs. So things like in the Gurren Lagann video, what I'm doing in that video is pointing out how this show is sort of encapsulating an idea that I think is valuable, and I wish people would consider more as they conduct themselves in their daily lives. And it's, it's an anime analysis showcasing an idea that I think is really good and explaining why I like the show that, has that bit in it. Like, that's what I'm doing. And
so you would say maybe that you're like a preacher using the medium of YouTube analysis.
I say this, I say this all the time.
He's a bard. He's a bard.
Yeah, like, I'm all about that thing that Huey Freeman talked about in that fucking episode of The Boondocks where he puts on the Christmas plate, like he had this idea and he wants to explain to people, I don't know, whatever it was in his case, like the real Jesus or something, why, everyone's wrong about Jesus. And, like, nobody gave a shit until he put, like, fucking, I don't know, who was in it, like Kanye West, or, like, people that are just, like, famous and just, like, are cool. And he put, like, songs, and he put sword fights, and he put all this flashy shit in order to, like, make a sweet pill that people would swallow to get the medicine that's inside it, like the important message, to get people talking about it. That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. That's Huey's Law.
So you're all
as I call
about
it.
that blue pill.
I'm totally.
I get it now.
It's not the blue pill.
I'm totally sweet pilled. I'm totally sweet pilled, dog.
It's.
I get it now. That you're just trying to spread good messages, good vibes, Christ consciousness.
That's right.
All that good stuff.
Damn right.
And that's it. You're just trying to tell people the cool stuff.
Look, Ben, I really, just to go back to this, I really think that there are, even if you think that it's like hopeless, that there's too many things that people are going to disagree on and we can't get anywhere. I would say that you have to say that there are at least some things that I think that we can form a consensus on. Like as an example, vaccines, like things like that.
I'll
But how is that
interrupt
fucking-
you guys because I want to make a statement that I've been
Wait, I
wanting
just
for
let
a
me
while.
Mage, let me just answer what he just said
Okay,
quick.
fine.
Go on, Ben.
He said like that's such a specific example. Like that that's who the fuck is going to
Well, like
be
I said,
who
it's
the
just
fuck
one
is making
example.
vaccines? Like I'm like what I'm doing
Alright,
in my
this-
life is not going to lead to the creation
Well,
of
like
a vaccine.
giant corporations, giant, like medical corporations are making
Well,
vaccines.
how does that fucking inform how the average person should
You're
live their
gonna
life?
argue about this
Maybe they should work
forever,
for that
both
company
of
or
you.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
shouldn't.
guys.
All right,
guys,
I'm not
the
passionate
vaccine
about
things
this
is a bit-
discussion anymore, and it's certainly going to be
Let's
losing us
just
money if we
Mage-
keep going. So,
Mage
Mage,
go.
what's
All
up?
right.
I just wanted to agree with Tommy, but when he said earlier about this whole self-indulgent thing, I do art because it makes me happy. Like I've always been drawing regardless of whether people saw it or not, and even if I wasn't popular or even if people didn't like my art, I would probably still be drawing. But the fact that there's a lot of people out there that like my art and they're happy because they got to see what I'm doing, kind of makes me happy, and it kind of motivates me to do more. But regardless of that, I would still be doing what I'm doing with or
That-
without the people.
That leads me into the point I wanted to make about this discussion of money versus passion, and how I think there is another aspect that people operate on that we're totally leaving out of this equation, and that's attention. I think more than even money, I think people do things for attention. I think
Yeah.
that's a huge motivator.
Honor,
And
glory.
They're similar in the sense that, like one is sort of economic capital and the other is social capital, and both can be sort of used
I
to
feel
gain
like
advantages
social
in life.
capital for a lot of people is probably more valuable. I think
Okay,
Attention
sure,
is
that's
scary,
fine.
though.
That's fine.
it totally is, but I think there's so many people who
Not
just
to
like
everybody,
shit
Mage.
post and do like
That's true.
random crap on the internet just because they're looking for attention, even though they know it's not going to make them any money. Whereas there are things
Right,
that could make
right.
you a lot of money that people don't do. So I think a lot of people operate just under like they want attention.
I would
I think-
Well,
start
yeah, that's fine,
hiding
that's
and
fine.
doing things whenever I would get a lot of attention because I got scared of being really
I-
limelight.
I will say that Mage, you say that you would draw even if no one was watching, and
I've always been doing that.
honestly, I'm pretty sure that if I didn't think anyone would see it, no, I would never draw anything, because what would be the point? I could just imagine the image in my head, and then I'd have seen it, and I wouldn't need to share it. I wouldn't need to create it to share it with anyone.
I
Yeah,
feel sort of similarly to Ben, and I would say I advocate for sort of like a benevolent capitalism on this
Jesus.
front.
I
You
mean,
know?
What was
Other
Hippo?
thing.
What was Hippo gonna say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh well, I don't know. I was gonna say something about like not understanding Nate's position before, but now kind of understanding that
Yeah.
he's thinking about that sort of thing. And I think art, when you're making it, it's everybody does it for a different reason. Some people do it because they want attention. Some people do it because they need money, but also because they kind of like it. Some people just love it so much that they can't not do it. I think we all have like the reason I make my reviews of video games is because I feel good when people react positively to them. I also like it when I can tell people about cool video games and have them play it and have fun. So I like spreading the fun. And on another level, I like understanding in myself why something is good, which is why there's always a lot of analysis. Even though I'm mostly a comedy guy, I try to figure out for real exactly why a game is good, so that I can say to myself, yeah, I figured it out finally. And it's all those little different things, the reasons that I like doing what I do. And the money is a much lower on the scale, really, to the point where I probably would still make them even if I didn't make that much money. It would always be a hobby of mine to do that. If I got like a real job or something, or a different source of revenue, and Hypocrites just sort of died, or it never gained any sort of big popularity, I would still probably just be slowly making them until I'm dead.
Is it going too far to say that really when it comes to a question of doing it for passion versus doing it for money, is the heart of that doing it because you want to do it for yourself versus doing it for other people? Is that really what it comes down to?
Well,
I feel like
everything's
it kind of
selfish.
is.
Everything's selfish in the end. You might do it for other people because other people make you feel good about yourself for having made it for
I
them.
I want
feel-
to say a thing.
Go on.
Okay, hold on to your thought. Don't forget it.
Yeah.
So for me, like, it's a little, when we talked earlier a bit about the whole, you said, you wouldn't do it because no one would see it. Like, for me, like I said, I've always been drawing ever since I was little, and not a lot of people saw it. Like, the fact that people did see it, like a few friends, maybe family not so much, friends, I guess, it was definitely like a motivator to, sort of show off and share it. But I couldn't not draw, like, even if no one saw it. It's just part of my life for me. But like, is that, the people see it and they like it, that's definitely like motivating me to make more. However, there is a point where the attention turns into expectations, and that's where I get like really uncomfortable, and then I kind of backpedal and not do anything because I don't like people expecting stuff from me, like and like, this is what's bothering me, because my most recent video, like the animation meme, it blew up like a lot more than I expected it to, and people were like, oh man, this is so good, I'm subscribing, like I can't wait for more quality memes, animation memes, and I'm just like, how I'm gonna live up to this.
I see.
Like, I did this meme, like, just because I wanted to, for the most part. Like, I could have
Oh my god, 152,000 views. Jesus Christ.
in less than a week.
Damn.
Exactly.
That's really good.
I mean,
yeah,
really
like,
good.
it took me several days, but I did it because I really wanted to make it look a little different than the other copycat memes. It wasn't like because I wanted it to get a lot of attention or like make a lot of months out of it. It's
silly
just...
boys, don't look at my meme animations. I hear you, mate.
No. I mean, like, yeah, I wanted to put it out there and I wanted people to see it, but it was like, I wanted to do this. That was my main motivator. This is the meme I want to do, and this is how I want to go about it. And I did stress about it sometimes, and I did change several things, and some things didn't turn out the way I wanted to. And in the end, I'm not too happy with it, but kind of proud of it. I'm proud enough to put it up. But then, it was for me, mostly for me. I like that people did like it and shared it, and now that it's getting a lot of attention, I am getting scared. But at the base, it was just because I wanted to do it, not because other people wanted me to do it.
Yeah, I think when there's like reasons to make something, everything's on sort of like a slider. The more you slide something to one end, the other end's like a percentage of the reason you want to do it. Sometimes
like gender, you're somewhere along the slider. Yeah, okay, we're on the same page, right?
Like it's like a percentage thing, like, or a pie chart. I don't fucking know how to visualize this, but like
a pie chart. Yes,
because
I'm hungry.
Yeah. There's making it because you want it to exist. That's like every time I think of something like, that doesn't exist, I want it to exist, and I make it.
Devu actually said something like very similar to this. I'll read this after you're done, but
yeah. So there's like making something because you just want it to exist and you haven't seen it yet, and that's the drive. The other thing is like making it because for attention / money, because like it's basically the same thing. So you want like validation in some form, and then the other one is like something I don't fucking know. I've ruined my own idea. But like,
I'm with you though. I'm with you.
Devu's comment is, I have a Venn diagram. The things I want to make circle is so big and vast that I am left demoralized at the futility of picking one. When I examine the things people will like and things that will turn a profit and things that I have the skills for fields and figure out what is contained within all of them, I am presented with a glorious few paths to choose from. Sums it up pretty good. I think I'm into that metaphor, or it's not a metaphor.
Hey,
that visualization.
I'm also acting as the voice piece in this case for Mumkey, who just asked, "Where is Devu typing this shit? I want to post fun notes." Okay, never mind.
No, I owe this to Devu. I'm being subsumed.
Really?
Yeah, well, because he let me use his microphone, and he was like, "I'll let you use it." He was like, "I kind of want to be on this cast, but I kind of don't. So I'll just let you use my microphone, and in return, just read my DMs in the thing." I was like, "Well, I guess I can't say no."
Yeah, what the hell? Like, we could never ever have a podcast with Ben and Devu on it because
Ben,
you only have
we
one
did
mic.
We did last week, and I just used my shit mic, and it sounded like garbage.
You gotta buy one, my friend.
No, but I don't wanna.
Yeah.
Just not passionate about that audio quality.
How can I buy a new mic? Like, that's gonna come out of the funds I'm saving up for that Oculus Rift.
Oh man! Fuck yeah, dude.
If anyone, let us know in the comments if you understand what the fuck I'm talking about when I say that. That's
no,
deep.
It should stay a deep hidden
that's the deep
multi-layered.
So
on that PCP like depth chart, that should be like
that's pretty fucking deep. It's maybe not the deepest, but it's down there. Okay. So about what we're saying about like things you want to make versus what people want to see. For me, being an artist is all like the satisfaction of being an artist is all about making the thing that you want to make and then putting it out there and seeing what other people think about it. So like I'm like I'll do commissions or stuff, whatever, because I need money. Like I said, like money doesn't motivate me at all, except insofar as it lets me do the things I want to do. What really does motivate me is attention, and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, but there you go. Mm-hmm. I just want people to see my shit. I want people to see my shit, and I just want to see. I want to make the thing. I want to make the thing that's in my head and put it out there and see what it is. And I want to make things that are like honest and like represent like my actual self in some way and put them out there and get like and see what happens, you know? Like there would be no point in doing it. There would be no point in doing it with anything other than like what is really my self, you know? Mm-hmm. Any like I wouldn't like I have no interest in like catering my content or something to be more popular, because if it's not the thing that I want to make, then I don't care. If it's not the thing that I want to make, then I don't care what people think about it or how popular it gets, because it's like, not really mine.
If you're just in it for the money, might as well do a job that actually pays more than that. You know,
yeah,
exactly.
Arts.
Like if you're in it for the money, there's no reason really being an artist. You're kind of kneecapping your main desire right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to things that I want to make, I think this is the reason I'm a jack of all trades, and I'll never be like really good at any one thing. I'll just make loads of different things because I have like ideas.
Is that you, Jump Cut,
various...
Jack of all trades? My favorite character. I'm so glad you're here.
Jump Cut, Jack of all trades. Yes, and it's like, you know, I want certain things to exist and they don't exist, and I don't want to pay for them because I don't really have money for that. If I did have money, even if I did have money, I would feel weird paying somebody to make certain things like art or whatever. So like I've considered like writing a book because I wanna have like a book. I just want it. I've written like a little thing, and I'm gonna make it eventually. And there's like a video game. I want PlayStation 2 style graphics to become the next big thing. I want to bring it back. So yes. I want to work with my brother to make a PlayStation 2 game just because I want that to exist, because there isn't one. There isn't one on Steam that you can buy that's
There is no PlayStation 2 game, goddammit.
PlayStation 2 has no games right now.
That meme has been going on.
Really annoys me. You know, and things like that. Even like pornography. Like there's certain pornography that I think of in my head, and I'm like, oh wow, that would be cool. But it doesn't exist. Nobody draws it. And it's annoying. I feel like I gotta get better at drawing anatomy so that I can make that for myself. Just be like, oh yeah, I did it, I did it.
Yes.
It was in my head, and now it's on paper, and I don't have to think about it anymore. I can just look at it. You know, it's just all these things. I want to do everything. I want to make a rock album, or I want to make a rap album, or I want to make everything. And it just kills me because I just don't focus on any one thing for any a good amount of time to make the things that are in my head, because
that is really tough. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I have so many comic ideas that I want to do. I want to do comics, and I want to make a game as well. But I don't know, I don't know the first thing about like programming shit. But I could do the arts, I guess.
I'm lucky that I have a brother who is a programmer, so I can have him do it.
I wanted
help.
You said you're good at programming.
Not.
I pretty much stick to my lanes that I use at work, and when I was younger, I was into game design and planned on doing it, but like I basically just do the corporate kind of shit and do not spend my free time doing it. So like I'm not really a game programmer or anything like that kind of shit.
I wanted. So
don't expect that from me.
I had a bunch of champion stuff that I really wanted to do, and like I'll probably still do it. But like I had like the next 3 chapters planned out, and I had like a side chapter that I was thinking of like maybe paying someone else to draw. It's like a little side story, and I thought about making like a little like a game. I thought about like programming like a really simple game that related to it or something, and then it all kind of got. I started the second Nuzlocke, and then I feel like my effort went into that instead, and I deeply regret it, and I hate it, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. It wasn't worth it, but like once I started it, I had to finish it. And
well, you're almost done, and once that's done, you can reassess all your priorities at your leisure. And I hope you make choices that will support you financially. And then once you have more, leverage there, it'll be easier to do whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. It's good. It's gonna be good. I feel like I'm really coming to a point where I can finally just like fuck everything else. Like, I'm gonna have time. Like, soon I'm gonna have the time. Yeah. And like the ability to like just do the shit that I want to do, and it'll be fine. Once I get some stuff out of the way, like some commission stuff and fucking getting people other rewards, because I need to fucking get everyone their rewards before I can feel comfortable with anything. I feel like, how did I even get on this fucking tangent? Never mind, it's not important.
No one knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody cares. What were we talking about? Money. I hate it.
We're talking about stuff, and it's so hard, and I don't like how difficult it is, and it's going to take 40 years before I feel good about it.
You guys were talking about all this doing stuff because you want to do it. Let me just put it out there that I don't give a shit about anyone's feelings. The fact that artists want to make what they make could not care less about people doing what they want to do.
Sure.
I am only interested in your the productivity units that you are putting into the human machine. That is what I'm interested in. That's what I see. When I'm walking around, I just see units of value, and some people have more, some people have less. That's all I'm interested
in. You're crazy, Nate. You're fucking crazy.
No, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben.
How come I'm the one who's called the communist? This is sounding a little communistic.
Here's the thing with this. I'm on Nate's side here because I understand that his point of view is that, and there's no onus on me to give a shit about his desires as a person. So if he wants me to if he doesn't care that I'm doing what I like,
right?
I mean, that doesn't change anything about what I'm doing if I'm doing what I like.
That's not what's crazy about it. What's like, I'm all for not giving a shit about other people or about what they want. But measuring them in utiles, like giving them like a utility, using some kind of utility calculus to like objectively determine their merit is nonsense.
That's a meme. But what I'm really saying is I am not interested. I don't agree with Ben Shapiro on a ton of stuff, but one thing that I do totally agree with him on is that I am totally disinterested with how other people live their life, but I want them to have the total freedom to do whatever they want as long as they contribute in some way to the whole. So this is a purely capitalistic system I'm talking about here, where I want you to have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. You just have to find a way to make people give a shit about it. And just in addition to that, I would like it. This is where like my personal thing is. I would just really like it if everyone had as a priority that like, okay, I'm going to find a way to make my way in the world, but I'm going to keep in mind that my overall goal is to like also try to make things better in general. In whatever way I define that as, I'm going to try to make it better. And obviously there's going to be conflicts as to what makes things better, but that's what I want. So
say I make all my art stuff, and it's like it never gets super big, but people like it, and it's and it is people liking it. Is people feeling happy about the fact that they're watching or listening or reading the thing that I made? That their happiness level has gone up. They've got happiness points. Is that progress? Is that like what you think is a good idea?
I'll tell you exactly what usefulness art and all that shit has. There are times when human beings can no longer do the work that makes them valuable members of society. At those times, it is appropriate for them to do things like consume art or play video games, or which is art. I'm not making a distinction there. Or just like do things that make them relax, listen to music or whatever, to de-stress so they can wake up the next day and continue to be a slave to the human machine. Nate, that's what we need them to be.
Right. Nate,
so there's totally a place for that.
Nate,
shit.
See, I agree with that.
Okay.
I just don't think of it like that. I just don't think.
I like to think about it in cold mechanical terms.
Because I don't think of it like benefiting society. I just think, oh, you know what? I'm glad that people enjoy my stuff. I'm glad I'm making a few people's lives a little better every so often.
Yes.
Like that's all I. That's the deepest
That's my goal.
I think about it.
It's really funny. I don't care about making anyone's life better. I don't care.
Consider this, people. Ben is far more amoral than me. Consider that. He is not interested. Far more.
No, I'm completely amoral, but I just think that you're. Right. I think that
you just don't like the tone I'm using. That's all you're.
No, here's what I say. You see, I admit to being completely amoral, but you claim that you have some kind of moral compass, and I'm over here.
Highest moral compass.
I'm over here trying to dismantle it and show you that actually you're not, because your moral compass doesn't actually make any sense or point anywhere. there.
Right,
Okay,
that's what you're trying to do.
That is what I'm trying to do. Okay,
spectacularly.
By saying that like people should keep in mind like the greater good, you're just asking people to go against human nature, and it's just pointless. Like everyone,
Human nature is weak. Human nature can't be trusted. We have to rise above it.
Everyone, you can't rise above human nature. You just can't do it. Everyone by nature,
I disagree.
Acts in a way that like maximizes their own fucking good and like their own satisfaction.
There's so much evidence that humans can in fact rise above human nature. So take for example the
bullshit.
founding of the United States of America.
Bullshit.
It broke away. It was created by the Enlightenment as a secular state in direct defiance to the old aristocratic systems of Europe. That shit was garbage. We improved upon it.
They did it because they wanted to. And Nate,
what does that mean? Of course they wanted to. They were reacting to things they found injust because we have elevated our morality. And we're continually working all the time in philosophy to keep elevating human morality to make life better.
I'm not going to work through. I'm not going to work through this whole fucking thing. I'm just going to just viewers at home, just try as as a homework exercise to think about in what way the creation of the United States of America could have been, what's the word, pragmatically motivated, like for its creators. Like in what way could they have been driven, like in some way that serves their own self-interest. I'll bet you could think of a few.
Don't throw Jefferson and Washington and Adams under the bus.
It's just saying that people should work for the greater good is just. It's just asking the fucking impossible because people don't do that. People act in accordance to maximize their own benefit, and like it just so happens. Well, it's not entirely an accident. It's like I don't know, just the way of things or whatever. It's the way things shake out. That like generally people acting in their own benefit will benefit the group at large.
Well, when
but
something
not always.
benefits the group, it's benefiting all the individuals.
I will admit in a second that no one is not selfish. Every single act we do is a direct action done in order to make our own lives better. I will happily admit that. Yeah. I just want people to consider the large scale ramifications of that. That's
when
all.
I said that people feeling happy about my stuff. Mm-hmm. Like that isn't like a reason that I make anything. That's just a happy little bonus, like a little extra. Like every time I get a comment saying, "Man, this is really good. I really like this." I'm like, "Oh, cool. That's nice." But and I do admit that I sometimes make content because I know that people will like it, but that's not ever the only reason I do it. It's never money. It's never other people. It's mostly to do with me wanting it to exist, and it just so happens to benefit society. I don't think of it as a thing that in my head that I'm thinking all the time. Like
wanting to benefit
it's
society
strange that
is
you
a
think about it all the
selfish
time,
motivation
but it's fine.
It's weird. I don't do art. I don't do art for my own satisfaction because if no one was watching it, I wouldn't do it. And I don't do art for other people. And I don't do art for other people's benefit because I don't care if it makes them happy. I don't know. I guess I do. I guess I do it to get their reaction or something. I guess I do it because I'm interested in people's reaction to it. I guess
you get it like I do it because you want people to take to value your opinion and to think that you're cool.
And I also just want to say that Devu says that he agrees with Nate on the American Revolution and also with the Enlightenment, the rise of science, the way we swapped out racial superiority theory for slightly less terrible ideas like multiculturalism.
Who cares?
Sometimes me and Devu are absolutely on the same wavelength. Anyway, Mage, go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm still kind of sleepy. Man, it's been hours. I'm still sleepy.
God damn, Mage, wake up! Come on.
No. Listen. Okay, listen. I have this idea and don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, so there was this dude in history.
Excited to find out.
He was like super good at painting, right? And
Hitler. Sorry, did I ruin the
Yes.
joke?
Yes, you did.
Oh my god.
Okay, but basically, so he was really good at painting, and if he just went with that instead of like trying to benefit society, because he was a patriot and he wanted to like help the German people initially.
Oh
so
man,
we
Hippo,
wouldn't
I wish you
have
hadn't
wow,
said
he was
it.
right. Okay.
World War II. So
Mage, what is this lovey-dovey bullshit? Art will fix all the problems of the world. No, that's not how it works.
George W. Bush also is very good at painting.
What is your
There's
point?
no way
that
he's good.
Nate,
I
I have a
refuse
question
to
for you
believe.
about your mentality. And my thing is just listening to this whole time because I haven't really been saying much. Is that I can understand you saying that you want people to consider and try and have some sort of motivation when they create things for the greater good and pushing humanity forward. But my question is, do we as individuals even have the capacity to truly understand the grand impact of anything we do? Because like who knows what's going to happen with our content, even like 10 years after we're dead, or 10 years down the road from now. Like, we don't know how it's going to go out there and proliferate into the world, so we can't really see the far-reaching impacts of anything we do. So is it kind of outside the scope of human perception to understand the grand impact of anything that we do has in the world and beyond that?
I think it's something that the fact that Nate is the one that's saying this and he's not an artist means he has like the time to think about that. Like artists,
I mean, I'm not a fucking like drawing artist. That's true. I would consider my videos art.
What I mean by that is that I think for us, thinking about the greater good, it's not worth thinking about. It's just an extra taxing thing. Like, oh, how will this benefit humanity?
You can't fucking go around
You just have to let it happen. If it does happen to benefit humanity, that's great.
You can't
whatever.
Think about,
you can't think about it. I would rather let.
Sorry.
I would rather let Nate think about that and just think about that in the big grand scale and just let me do my little dinky thing in my own little head, just going along doing whatever I'm doing, and if it just so happens to benefit humanity, that's good. I don't want to have to think about what I'm doing.
You can't think about
you
can't think about the greater good in everything you do, because you never know what the fucking larger ramifications are going to be. You can have some idea, but you'll never really know.
Look, it's totally fine to accept.
There's no objective standard of what to work for, and fucking it's just not even fucking human nature. Like if you're a human being, you're gonna be doing what you think is gonna fucking just get you the best outcome. And like, yeah, for a lot of people, benefiting the whole is gonna benefit the individual. But in that case, they're gonna do what benefits the whole of humanity just naturally because it also benefits them. Like,
okay,
that's just all you can do is just kind of go with the flow and follow your fucking human nature.
Okay,
and most of the time, just the way that it happens to shake out. Most of the time, if you do that, most people, what they do will benefit the larger fucking society usually. And that's the best. That's the best we can hope for.
I would say that. Largely, it's a pipe dream to imagine that everybody could be thinking about the greater good all the time. Like, if Hitler was thinking about the greater good, maybe he wouldn't have done what he did. Like, maybe he would have, put German resources to fixing the economy without having to kill a bunch of people.
In his mind, he was doing the greater good, but,
Well, I mean, but, the greater good for, the entirety of humanity. Though. You can't imagine... I can't imagine a world where people... the majority of people will be working towards the goal of that. You just have to have these few people, because most people, they're just dumb. We're apes. It's pessimistic to say and to think that everybody will not be able to be on the same page of humanity. But I think sometimes you just have to concede that not expecting other people to take on your worldview like that. And use it and think about it all the time.
No, hang on. No, I'm not expecting people to adopt my same worldview.
I'm fucking sick of this subject. Fuck you, Nate. This sucks. I hate this.
How is this my fault? I just said my opinion and everyone's freaking out about it. It's not my responsibility.
Because it's funny. It's funny. It's a funny meme.
I'm over it.
Look, all I want to say... All I want to say is just that, Ben, we clearly, and I don't think this is totally fine, we clearly have a different view of, the capabilities of human beings. And all our differences stem from basically the fact that, I sort of think that people can aspire to higher things or, can perceive it, and you don't. And
I believe that there is a level above talented, above loyal, that a nigga can aspire to.
That is a great quote from Neji Hyuga. Okay, Mage, what were you saying?
I wanted to say that for the most part, I think most of humanity, the best they can do is just not get in each other's way. But there are, several people that can actually greatly benefit humanity. And you have to sometimes realize which person you are and do that. I'm one of the people that I don't want to hinder other people. And I'm just going to do my own thing in my own little corner.
Well, that's exactly what I would hope for. If you think that you're an obstacle, get the fuck out of the way. That's perfect. That's exactly right.
I have like a
obstacle.
Hey, Mage called herself an obstacle, not me.
She's our old ball and chain.
Women.
She's the old ball and chain of the whole PCP.
Excuse me, I identify as purple.
Purple,
oh, shit.
ball and chain.
Okay.
Yeah, purple isn't an object. Purple is a concept.
Yes, exactly. I am a concept.
Oh, okay.
A wavelength. She's a wavelength.
Yeah.
I have a cool ending statement for the
Okay.
whole podcast before if nobody has.
Yeah, I think
any-
we're wrapping
has
up for
anything
the
else
most
to say.
part.
Yeah.
Are we? We've only
Alright.
been going for like an hour.
Well, we can do
That's
questions for a
fine,
while,
I'm
and we
hungry.
can make statements. But yeah, go on,
If-
Gib.
Yeah, I have a good end to say, but I would say that as we are in the PCP, in general, we are more passionate than we are money grubbing.
Yeah.
When it comes to our art.
Yeah.
But we are all very much procrastinators in making that art.
Yeah,
Not
that's
all-
true. That's
we're-
true.
we're-
That's
we're always
why I
just sort of
named
fucking
this
around.
this.
Yeah, there and that's the story of the PCP. The procrastinators. That's our origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fade out.
Yeah.
Fade out.
Fade out.
Credits roll.
Fade
Slow
out and
clap.
then fade back in because we got to do questions.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's. All right, that feels pretty good. Let's just pull up these questions here. Let's see what we got. I that came on so suddenly. I didn't have a time to actually look at them ahead of time like I normally like to do. So okay, let's see what we got. Okay, here's a filler question while I look for a better one. At Janiz Makudomaru, this guy's always asking us
that
questions.
guy. That guy helps me with Pokemon shit. That guy gave
Really?
me. Yeah,
How so?
that guy gave me a shiny Rowlet.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he gave his
adorable.
for my birthday. He gave me a shiny Rowlet and a named
Okay,
Goose.
Aw.
guys, my birthday
Named
is 5th
Goose.
of May, but this is probably gonna come out after 5th of May. Give me
5th of May. That's Cinco de Mayo. You were born on Mexico Day. That's
No, it sometimes goes along with like Lithuanian Mother's Day because Mother's Day in Lithuania is the first Sunday in May, so sometimes it falls on
Whoa.
that thing.
And Mage, mother of the PCP. Well, okay, all right. I
Kind
see
of
what's
like
going
how
on here.
my birthday is on Easter sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah, and
homeless
you're a
zombie
rabbit.
man, right? Just like Jesus. Understood.
Basically.
Okay, so Janice Makudomaro asks, what would you guys like the next From Software game to be? Since they're all done with
Pirate
Dark
game,
Souls forever.
Pirate game with Dark Souls physics. I want, but Dark Souls but pirates. I want.
How
the
does that
good-
work?
The best. Well, I want it to be like I just want it to be Dark Souls but on pirate ships. I just want pirate ships. There's never been a good pirate game. They've all been sort of okay, but never really good. They would be the best people to make a pirate game. I've always held this opinion.
so?
I love. Yeah, they could.
Why?
They're great. They can do mech games. They can do medieval games.
I
They
just
can
don't
do
see the
pirate games.
connection to like. Yes, they make good games, but why specifically are they the best ones to make a pirate game? Is it just because you like
'cause-
pirates and you like From Software? So obviously their game's going to be the best
They,
about
they
pirates.
made a great.
Yeah, it would be
if they made
good.
Bloodborne, but with pirates and pirate ships, like moving ones, then
Well, I'm just saying, I
would be cool.
basically like any genre, like with the Dark Souls formula applied to it, with the level of craft they put in, I would pretty much instantly love because I love playing those games so much.
I really
was
want them to
playing
make
Demon
Kingsfield.
Souls last night.
I really want them to make Kingsfield 4 or whatever.
Have you played any of the Kingsfield though?
Yeah, I played one on Digibros that is like months late and hasn't come out yet, I think.
Oh.
And boy, I think it was Kingsfield 1 or 2. It fucking sucked. It was so bad.
Well, here's another question. At Monkey Away, our frequent commenter says, Hitler used meth. Why don't you use meth?
Well,
It's,
shit.
relevant.
Solid.
I mean, just
Solid
look at the
question.
benefits. Just look at the benefits.
I guess-
you get to unite
No.
the German people.
I know why. It's because I don't have the courage. I don't have the courage that Hitler had.
I agree. I feel like that with a lot of hard drugs and just drugs in general.
Yule cowards don't even do meth like Hitler.
You're goddamn right. I have a joke for this bit.
Yes.
No, I don't.
Well,
The joke
what a
was you.
disappointment.
The joke was you.
I guess shout out to Hitler for being a special member of this podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Hitler. Everybody.
Wow. Another guy at the ladder analyst, who's a guy I see commenting on, just asked like your favorite Adolf Hitler quote. What's all the Hitler questions? I guess he is a
Well, they
pretty popular
probably
guy.
think Monkey Jones is
Well, no.
on
Well,
this
maybe
one,
it
but
was
he's
because his
not.
birthday was only 9 days before the recording of this podcast.
Really?
That's true.
Yeah, April 20th shares his birthday
Blaze
with
it,
Christian
dog.
Weston Chandler, as a matter of fact.
Everyone cool was born
Coincidence?
on Weed Day.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, and Devu says that Hitler's death day is tomorrow.
Really? Oh wow, what a celebration!
Wow,
if-
what a
he's-
short life.
He's not actually dead.
This
He's
was
not actually dead.
This was not intentional.
And
I did
also
not,
Devu's
I did not know all of
birthday.
this.
Also Devu's birthday. Weird.
Oh,
I'm just saying, Mage.
Happy early
You were
birthday.
You were
Yeah,
born
happy
in
birthday,
Europe,
Devu.
which is basically like being born in Germany. It's basically like being Hitler. So I'm just saying
It's very
there are
similar.
connections here.
It's very similar.
Hey,
Well, so
here's
was
a super relevant question for today's episode. At TP Crastinators, what's his name? Oh, at Jamie Step 47 says, ever considered getting a sponsor for the podcast?
What is that?
I'd certainly
What
consider
would that
it.
even mean? Like, what?
I like
would
how
that
we
would
just
be
had
a
like a
shout-outs
solid
or
like
something?
10 minutes of Hitler references, and then someone asked about a sponsor.
Oh, like
Our sponsor for today's episode, Mein Kampf. You can pick it up on
like in the middle of the
App Store.
podcast, we take a minute and plug Harry's razors or whatever.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
probably be it. I'd do it, man. I'd do it if the product
Yeah.
was good. I
We'd
don't
do
give
it.
a fuck.
I
Like,
would
this
do
is
it
just a
for the
bunch of
money
guys
for
talking,
sure.
so.
Yeah, I would do it
cool.
for money.
Yeah.
I would do it for money. I don't care.
Like, I don't think we're losing a lot of integrity by doing that on this particular show, you know? Like splicing that into,
There's
I don't
none
know,
to
like,
lose.
The PCP doesn't have much integrity to give up in the first place. Let's
Exactly.
be honest.
something like a I don't know, like a fancily edited anime analysis video, for example. Like, I don't see a place for like an ad in that, but here, I don't see the problem. I'd do it in a heartbeat
Yeah.
if there was a good
There's
a
this-
good offer.
Thing that I really like that I haven't bought for myself in a while. There's like these
Yeah.
this little box, and
Is it
has
food?
like, yes, it's food.
I know.
But it's like healthy food, but it's also very tasty food, and it comes in a box, and I forget what it's called. So I guess that's good because I'll be
Kid cuisine.
no, it's like it's a very cute short name. Anywho, but
Kid cuisine.
it's some sort of insert word box. I don't know.
Nerd box. There we
No,
go.
no,
Okay.
it's about
Get
food,
like
like
nerd
a
food.
bento
Nerd
box?
food
munch,
delivered
like
straight to your
munch
mouth.
box or something like that. I don't
Okay.
know.
Bento
okay.
box.
But yeah, no, not bento. I'm not weeaboo. It's
You were just
Yes,
saying you
are.
wanted
Yes,
the anime
you
store.
are, Mage. Come on.
well, yeah, because that would be cool. Anywho,
I'd like a box called Get Bento.
Agreed.
Oh, that would be good. Yes.
It's just a Asian Bart Simpson on the cover.
Yes. Just like Mr. Sparkle, Dr. Sparkle.
Yeah.
Mr. Sparkle. Yeah, Simpsons.
But
Okay,
yeah,
let's,
I would be fine
uh-huh.
with being sponsored by that because I freaking love the thing and I love the food they have because it's healthy
It's-
and it's tasty.
Yeah, we should
It's a
email every
It's a
every
product that you believe
corporation.
in. It's a product you believe in.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, maybe we should look into that. Okay, here's a question that might be my favorite question we've ever gotten. And I know this is just because it pertains to my interests. You guys might not agree. But at Gregory Barry 2 says, at what point do you feel analyzing an artwork crosses the line into conspiracy / headcanon territory?
Immediately.
Immediately. I mean that to me that feels like kind of like Ben's pornography test, where like it's hard. You just have to use common sense. You don't.
Yeah.
There's no like definition of when you're going too far, but you really just have at some point you need to step back and say
didn't-
like
I
this
didn't-
is not
I
I
what
didn't
they
make
meant.
the
Is
pornography
important.
test up, by the way. That's not my
No,
invention.
Don't be so humble, Ben. Don't be so humble.
Well, I won't.
I
never
would
will again.
say, I would say it's probably if you ever have to even like
Mm-hmm.
tangentially reference anything outside that's not in the text directly, you're probably crossing a line. Like
Says
if
the
you're
man
just-
who analyzed Big Horse at great detail.
well, that was total bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was the best thing ever. I'm not
It
saying
was.
it loses value. I'm
Yeah,
just saying it
I
goes
think-
from analysis to something else.
That's
'Cause
a
you're not
okay.
pretty good.
Okay.
Like that's a pretty good guideline. Like if you're referring if you're referring to something else, like to inform your reading of the text, something that is like not actually suggested in the text at all, then yeah, you're probably reaching and. Like unless you have really good reason, like unless like you knew that like the author was like friends with some other guy who wrote something and maybe they were tight or something.
But,
Like
as soon
unless
as you
can
can't
think
point
of,
to the thing itself and show me
that-
specifically
I think-
where you're
yeah,
coming
I think-
from.
yeah.
I think it's fine I think it's fine as long as at the end you say, "Well, it's just a theory." Okay.
yes, that
That's-
excuses all. That
That
excuses
reminds
all.
me of this like anime where the creators use like lots of Christian symbolism or whatever. because
Evangelion.
they
Yeah,
thought-
Eva,
that
yeah.
one, and because they thought it was cool and whatnot, and then
Or, like,
people were
Trinity
like
Blood or- yeah.
trying to find meaning and reasons and whatever, but like it
Yeah.
was just because people thought like the creators
Well,
thought it was cool.
I would say that it's totally fine to have a. Go on, Gib. You can go first.
Well, that's going into are you reading the thing right? And I think it's fun to analyze like, oh, what does this mean? Like thinking about it. If it's in the thing, you can ponder it. I don't mind people
that's-
pondering
yeah.
something.
Here's
But if
the
it-
thing.
if-
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go.
Okay, I was just going to say that I am totally fine with people coming up with whatever cockamamie schemes they want. You know, like some of that game theory shit about like Ness being Sans. You can go nuts. Go ahead and do it. But like, I feel like the crucial step that is missing. Ben, stop vaping! Stop fucking vaping! God damn it!
I can't.
You're an addict. You're a sick man.
I'm in
You're
too
a sick
deep.
man.
I'm in too deep.
He's vaping for the passion, man. You gotta let him do
damn
it.
it, Ben.
Yeah. You think I do? You think I do this? For the money?
Disgusting.
Not even close.
Disgusting. Yeah, it's for the craft. It's for the craft. For the love of the craft.
My artisan juice.
Artisan vapes. Artisan juice.
That I steep myself in a still in my granny's basement.
Oh, God. Okay, but here's what I was going to say, that what I feel... Okay, so go ahead and come up with ever crazy schemes you want, but I feel like the step that people forget so often is, like, after you've presented all this stuff, you have to take the final step and say, like, okay, now that we've brought all this information up, does this actually seem reasonable in the slightest? If the answer is no, you then say, okay, into the trash it goes. We were reaching on all of that. Please forget it. Like, you can keep it in mind, but it was not true, so just move on. It's not... Do not keep this in your brain.
When people reach, it's when they reach like that and then pretend that they're not reaching when they obviously are.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's even worse when a video like that like gets really big and then everyone just starts quoting it as gospel when it's completely bullshit.
Anytime somebody's headcanon becomes popular,
that's
and then
the worst
people
thing
start
in
getting
the fucking
angry
world.
that the headcanon is real is not real.
Shit,
You know what that's a big
the
one for
only
that?
time it's really bad.
what's a
But
big
other
one
than
for
that, I
that?
don't mind.
Guys,
Yeah, Mage.
that whole I can relate to this so bad because the whole like hey, Mettaton's ghost was a female shit. It's not. It was never stated. It was never proven. But someone headcanoned it. It became popular. People are now pronouncing it as the gospel,
I
have to deal with this as well.
canon for years.
I have to deal with this on
was
my
the worst.
most popular video that has almost 1 million views, and people just chime in. It's like, oh, but Mettaton Ghost was the female, so is he male or female? And I have to deal with this every single day.
I feel you so
Mettaton
hard.
is David Bowie.
Okay, so
But you know what? I don't blame people sometimes, because like things like Solaire and like people thought he was the son of Gwyn. Like there was reasons to come up to that conclusion. And the thing is, like, Dark Souls is deliberately vague. So like I totally excuse stuff like that. Like they were just thinking about that, and then like when Dark Souls 3 comes out and just proves like no, incorrect. Like that was never the case.
Yeah, well,
I like
it's always
headcanons.
it's only a problem when.
That's fine.
I love
As long as you treat them as
headcanons
such.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of people they get a headcanon and then they get upset instead of surprised when it's not real.
Like
they
Crocodile
don't-
being a
they-
woman. Like the thing about Crocodile in One Piece being a woman. Like,
Yeah.
Come
but-
on, people. Come on. There's no
Like-
evidence at all.
Like if it ever comes, like saying, hey, were you ever born a woman? Like for some reason, this character's talking about that, and he says, actually, no, I was born a man. As you can see, I'm still a man. And then it's like everyone's going, oh, okay. Like it would be okay. It would be okay if they just say, oh well, I guess that's not real. But some people will get mad and they'll be like, fuck this show, Mango.
The worst.
So
Dropped.
when it comes to like reading into like theory crafting, like I think you can read whatever like meaning into the work you want. Like you can read a thing and look at like you can take whatever lesson from it that you want, or like you can look at it and be like like when the characters do such and such, they they're that's an embodiment, like what they're doing there is like it's typified by the Dunning-Kruger effect or something, or you can, but then like you can't, it's not fair to do you do that with your own interpretation of the work, but it crosses the line when you read that into like the author's intentions. And like,
I was about to come back to that
right.
too.
You know,
it's
the
the whole
most-
intention versus interpretation thing all over again.
yeah. It's not you can't like put shit on the author if you don't have like real good thing, like real solid like textual or like word of God reasons to think them. It's not fair. It's
The
stupid.
most pointless arguments people can have is like, which canon is the correct one? It's like, my head canon is the correct one. No, my head canon is the correct one.
Well, that's
It's
just
like,
pure masturbation.
You're-
Guys, did you know that everyone in Undertale is a black gay trans woman?
I've read Human
It's
Tale.
canon, dude.
I'm a big fan of Human Tale, actually.
Wait, is that like an actual comic? I thought it was
No,
like
it was a
picture.
Tumblr. It was a Tumblr.
Oh, okay,
It was a
okay.
Tumblr. Yeah.
What else would it be? Let's be honest.
When you like when someone like Game Theory comes out with like Sans and Papyrus.
They're the worst.
You
They're the
see,
worst at this.
Sans and Papyrus are very similar to like the theory of the two halves of the brain, the left brain and the right brain. Like you can you can interpret it that way. You can look at that and be like, huh. The dichotomy of Sans and Papyrus kind of reminds me of the left brain right brain dichotomy. Like that's fine, but I don't even think that game theory is a particularly bad offender at this. Like there are much worse people about this. But then if you go on to be like that was the point, then you're retarded. Like then you're retarded. Like unless there's textual
Once again,
evidence,
it's really the audience's fault. And not
unless
the
there's
people making
textual or
the ideas.
metatextual evidence linking, like somehow suggesting that some kind of connection with the brain, you're just stupid if you then go on to be like, oh, I see, this is what it was meant to be. Like of course not.
I actually quite like game theory because I like to see how he's connecting things. And
I don't actually mind game theory that much.
Yeah, I love a man perform mental gymnastics for like 20 minutes at a time. I love it.
I've never
It's
watched
great.
game theory and really thought that they were trying.
I was
to
being
be
sarcastic, by the way.
authoritarian.
I actually
I
really
just-
like their one about The Simpsons, about finding Springfield. It's actually really good, and I like it.
That one is good. Yeah, sure. Some are good.
I do generally like a game theory or two. The mental gymnastics is fun, like just to see how far you could connect the dots if you felt like it.
How many
Both
fucking mental pirouettes can I do off this
Yeah, but
goddamn
it's so
fucking...
it's a brain exercise. It's like,
Yeah, I
whoa,
guess so.
all those things.
Yeah, I like.
that's-
but then
I like
why I
an
really
out
like
there.
it.
I like an out there interpretation of things. I think that's valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, I never accepted them as like truth or whatever, but it's really fun to see how he can,
All I'm saying is...
Watching game
keep
theory is
that
like watching Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, people, just keep that final step where you say, okay, we heard all this. Is this reasonable? If not, treat
it's
it as
just
such.
a theory.
Yeah, treat it as just a theory.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gregory Barry, for that incredibly juicy question. I'm going to put that down as my favorite question we've ever gotten. Everyone, that's the standard of a question that you should be asking on here.
Oh, let's clap
What-
it. Let's
Yeah.
clap
What
that
was the question?
question.
What was the phrasing of it?
The phrasing was
remember.
by @GregoryBarry2. At what point do you feel analyzing an artwork crosses the line into conspiracy / headcanon territory?
Yeah, real solid
So,
question.
yeah.
The
Real solid.
line
Very
is
good.
fuzzy, but
Are
Good
there
job.
more?
Okay, I got like two more little ones. At Pawn Diedator. At Pawn Diedator asks, I have literally no friends or aspirations.
Lol.
What do I do here? Don't recommend suicide unless you have a simple and easy method to suggest.
make some.
Yeah, make some friends or some aspirations. You gotta
Okay,
have
that's
some-
really
you gotta
easy
have
to say,
something.
though. It's
Oh,
really easy to
yeah,
say
I
that.
mean,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
One or
I
the
actually,
other. Surely you can do one or the other.
I
What-
think
aspire to make a friend. There you go. We solved one of the problems right there.
No, you can't just say that. Like if he's actually
No.
like in that
like
situation.
seriously though, I think something to do if you don't have aspirations is to kind of just start like consuming a lot of media and then kind of start
I think he probably
looking
does that.
looking for
Maybe.
inspiration, but like doing it in a way that you're kind of like looking for something to kind of resonate with you beyond the fact of just like I'm sitting here passively consuming something.
I think that's
'Cause,
not
Yeah,
a bad idea.
Yeah,
most
try
That's how
of my
that's how I
ideas
felt.
come from the desire to emulate something I find really impressive.
Although that
Yeah.
is a bit skewed towards the idea that this person should have artistic aspirations. Maybe he could
Well,
start
I
reading.
mean,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
No, because
really,
like
the-
if you
the-
watch like an anime or something about basketball, you're just like, man, I want to go fucking shoot
Yeah.
some hoops. Like you can do
Kurokuro
that too.
Basket, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I
I
mean,
think
sure, that's fine.
the thing you should do if you're in a situation like that, you don't know if you have any because I felt like this. If you don't know that you have any aspirations, any goals, any desires to have a skill in any way, just think about what you already do and what you enjoy doing. And if it's something. You probably have one thing that you think, well, I could never make a career of that, but maybe you could. Just look into it.
I will
And if
will
it's something
say-
like eating, or if it's something like I really like eating, then maybe I don't know, become a chef. Something,
example.
Also
just
something-
choose anything that you like
Just
already,
start
and then
doing
work with that.
start doing
Also-
something you like.
Yeah, even if you think, I'm not really good at this or whatever, don't let that, be, hold hold on, words.
Discouragement.
Don't let that discourage
what May's
you.
just trying to say is don't let your memes be dreams. Get out there and live them.
No,
Get out
it's
there.
like,
and live.
don't let the lack of quality, if you might think, your lack of quality discourage you, because like
Your lack of quality.
because honestly, a lot of people, especially artists, like to be down on themselves, thinking, oh, they're not good enough for whatever they're doing, and the feeling of not being good enough is probably gonna haunt you and a lot of other people, myself included, probably until the days end for me. So I don't think you'll ever reach the point, at least a lot of people probably will never reach the point where they're satisfied with themselves and their quality of content.
No, but it's the journey.
Yeah, it's the journey.
That's right.
And seeing yourself improve over time, sometimes like, oh, hey, taking like a drawing from 2 years ago and comparing to a current drawing, or like, hey, I never noticed how much I've improved. That's kind of very satisfying. And like,
I will say about like watching yourself improve. Don't think about that.
Yeah.
Don't think consciously. Oh, if I do stuff, I'll improve. Because then you'll see like 1 week ago, and then you'll find no improvement, and you'll feel like nothing is changing, and then you'll give up.
the improvement is very small and
do
gradual.
what you do. Do whatever you enjoy doing, and just do it over and over again. And then in a couple of years, just see what's happening, because something will probably happen.
Whatever you feel like doing, whatever you want to do, take it one like mini project at a time. Just set yourself like one little goal, like I'm gonna draw this
really
thing.
small.
I'm gonna draw
goals.
this thing, or I'm gonna sing this thing, or something, and then just don't worry about anything else. Just do whatever it takes to make it happen. Just do it. Make it happen. Be like, okay, this is how that came out. Let me try this next thing. Yeah, just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, and if it's like some sort of like
little
artsy
steps.
thing that you put on like on the internet, and like if no one pays attention to it at first, or like you get some discouraging comments, don't pay mind to those. Everyone who starts like at the beginning has to deal with it.
I would say just set yourself a goal. Just set yourself some little goal. Just think of something you can do, some attainable goal that you're confident you can reach, and then just do it.
Do it for yourself. Do it because you want to. And
Yeah,
then,
I would suggest even if you're starting at something and it is something that's like postable online, I would say like don't put it online like immediately. I think if you just kind of keep it to yourself for a while, like, and it was an interesting kind of metaphor that someone once said, that like your creativity when it's young is like kind of like a person when they're young. When they're a baby, they have like the fontanelle in their head and it's soft, and like if it gets hurt it can like kill you. And your creativity is the same way. If someone fucking like shoots you down right when you're starting and you're still kind of soft, it can destroy all of your like motivation to keep going. But if you just like keep it to yourself and just kind of like take pride in your little steps forward over and over again, and like 6 months later then you start to post things online, if someone comes by and is like, oh, it's gay, it's like, you've been doing it enough that you've had enough confidence in yourself. It's like, I don't fucking care. You're gay.
And if you're just starting out, don't compare to like pros, because there's no point.
All right.
Just compare to yourself. Just only compete with yourself.
And like
Deb,
Sorry.
I want to say, because we've only been talking about skills, the friend thing. I will say about
well,
that.
none of us give a shit about friends. We all care about.
No.
I'm with this.
Because it's really important to know like if you find skills too troublesome and you're like, I don't know, I just want to have a friend. Like if you have one or the other, here's how you make a friend. You either if you go to school. You just act like a complete retard and hope somebody notices. Like, go out expecting to be a laughing stock, and nobody likes you, because that's how you already feel. You already feel that nobody likes you. So if you just do some loud
so step
shit,
one done. He hates himself. Good. It's only up from here.
But you have to make yourself be heard. Because if you're just like a quiet person, you don't talk to anyone, you don't have any friends, people will just think of you as the person who doesn't want to talk to anybody and doesn't want any friends.
If you go out into the world and you like display a willingness to make a fool of yourself and not give a shit, even if you do in fact make a fool of yourself, like you still look like the cool guy because you were willing to do it. Like making a fool of yourself is no big deal, but like not giving a shit about making a fool of yourself is the big deal, and everyone likes that.
And also for people who are not in school, if you're like not in school, you're just living at home, you don't have a job, you don't know what you're doing with your life, you don't know any people, you can't just hang out in a bar or whatever. Get a job. Like go just get a menial job, and you will meet a coworker, and that will be your friend. You'll just work through it like that.
Wait,
there's always smaller steps to go to find friends. And find people.
Getting a job is actually great advice. Probably.
I was going to say,
you've got nothing else going on.
what I was going to suggest is just like I'm going to assume that you are an able-bodied, like high school or college age person, and that you're in the situation like that, and you have the ability to do these things. So that being the case, I would say, yeah, like first of all, you got to find an interest, and then just go find the group around that is involved in that interest, like a club or something. But really, the essence here is to put yourself in situations where people cannot ignore you, where you are imposing on people, so they have to deal with you. Because like it or not, those people will become your friends, and they leave them no choice in the matter. Leave them no choice.
I just want to put a caution, like, don't get too emotionally invested in the first person you make friends with.
Sure.
And like don't get too attached as well. Like even if it's a friend online, especially if it's a friend online, don't get too attached with them initially, even if you're hitting off very well, because some people are crap, and sometimes some people might feel like you're smothering them, and they might start backing away from you. So
we should probably have like a whole podcast of friends.
Oh, like how to make friends.
Is a good one.
That's a great idea. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there.
Mage is really right about that, because like you got to get like a starter friend sometimes, like a Ben Saint, and work your way up to like the best guy ever. You gotta work your way up. Don't worry, Ben. There is hope. Sometimes you can train your Ben Saints to be better. Sometimes you can elevate them too.
God.
Sometimes.
Oh God. Damn it, man. That's such a sick burn. I can't even fucking do anything about it.
No. Okay. Well,
I'm not even mad. I'm just like, damn. Wow.
I just want to close out that question if we're done with it. That because he said like I don't know if I'm ever gonna have a passion or have friends.
Right.
Especially with passion, but also with friends too. If it's bothering you that you don't have it, that means that you can. Because if you had no passion, you wouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah.
So there is a passion there waiting to be unlocked. You just haven't stumbled upon it yet.
Also, like movies, anime, and whatever media like to romanticize the whole passion thing. Like love is never like how the movies describe it, and same with like friendships and passions. Like you don't have to be super into it. It doesn't have to consume your whole life, and you don't have to tear yourself over it. Like if you're just like happy with what little you have, that's fine. Don't stress yourself like for not caring more or wanting to do more or whatever. Do it at your own pace.
And very last thing on this subject, I just wanted to say that
I have a last thing as well.
Okay, I'll say my first last thing. You can say your last thing. I was just going to say, keep in mind, I would guess that you're fairly young, or at the very least, like you haven't really established yourself in the world yet. Like the confidence to go out and do things that comes with just like having achieved things in your life really makes the rest of this a lot easier. Like the rest kind of just falls into place. So I would emphasize achieving some goals. Like find out what you want to do and work towards that. And even just the act of working towards it will give you inherent confidence to like just get better at all this whole life shit. You'll be better off.
Right.
Okay.
And the last thing I want to say is that if you do actually want to kill yourself, here's a quick, easy way to do it. No.
Did anyone say that? Did anyone bring that up?
Well, yeah, his thing was don't recommend suicide unless you have a simple and easy method.
So here's the easy way to do it. Right. Get all the savings you have, and then buy a one-way plane ticket to a third world country, a random third world country, and then just exist. And if you're okay, if you can survive, then you deserve to live, and then you can do cool things, and you'll be like real cool.
That's a cool idea, because like if you're about to kill yourself, like Jesse was saying this the other day, instead just start a new life somewhere else and see how it goes using like all your money, because like then you're not dead. You get to try again at the very least. Might work out.
I went to Google Earth and I did show me a random place, and I clicked on it and I was like, I could go there, I guess, because I was feeling real down at the time. I was thinking I could just buy a plane ticket there. I have the money, but then I kept spinning it, and then it was like,
there's too many.
These are all tourist locations.
Now I'm looking at that. Now I'm looking at that rope and beam in my room, real enticingly. That's.
I don't have any beams in my house. That's why I'm not dead.
Thank God for the new code standards. No exposed beams. Okay, well, let's go to our last question here by @MrNoName2001. asks, what's the worst thing any of you have ever done? The answer is this podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody.
The answer is My Little Pony analysis. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, go listen to the latest fucking Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers, where we dive deep. We dive deep into our innermost feelings on that subject.
Agreed.
I actually have a story I want to say. I think that's the worst thing.
All right.
I was like 6 or 7 years old, and there was this girl, and she had a lot of like little miniature animal things, and I was really big into those little miniature animal things, and like she had like I think I saw like all of them, and they were really cute. But one day I was walking around and I saw it was dropped like somewhere on the street, and I knew it was hers because no one else had like this little zebra one, and I picked it up and I was like, you know what? If you're not gonna take care of it, I might as well keep it, and I never gave it back.
Give it to a good home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, hopefully you took care of it.
I did.
I mean, that's basically what
Well, that's
Ash
good.
did with
That's good.
Charmander.
That's true. Hey, okay, you know what? I've got one. Since we're actually down, I think this is actually the evilest thing I've ever done. One time when me and Ben were kids, we were just kind of like lying on the couch, sort of like parallel to each other, and then just for absolutely no reason, I just heel dropped Ben in the stomach for no reason. I just thought it would be funny. I just thought
Is that
it
why
would be really
Ben
funny.
is so messed up now and salty
Like
about
I
life?
felt my
was
slip.
it- And was it funny? Was it
Yes,
worth
Ben.
it?
It was very funny. Actually, no, I was terrified because I really felt myself slip into sociopathy for a second there. I really just lost all in like companionship with humankind and just decided to hurt someone for fun. No, not okay. Don't do it. I'm sorry, Ben. I regret it every day.
Yes.
I'm not. Notice I'm not forgiven. Notice I'm not forgiven. Okay.
No. We'll see about that. I'm gonna hold that one over you for a
To
little
be
longer.
continued.
Do you remember that, Ben? Do you actually remember that? I'm just curious.
Not like I think I remember like the day that it happened. I don't really remember like
It was that traumatic.
it happening. Because I didn't see it coming, you know?
Yeah, I did for no reason.
It was
For no
it was
reason.
just like a sudden like, oh god, I am in so much pain and I can't breathe.
I was such a badass back then. God damn.
Such a cool
I
dude.
gotta go back. I have to go back
Yeah.
to those days.
Yeah.
Okay. We
yeah.
stretched this for almost 2 hours.
Well,
All right.
hang on. I have the worst thing I ever did.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty big one. When I was a little boy in the school cafeteria, you have like your meal, and then you can have like a pudding, a dessert thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always chose the crackers because I like savory things. So I chose the crackers. There's a little 2-pack of crackers.
Mm-hmm.
You put them on your tray. You go and eat them. But I always wanted to eat them in the playground afterwards. So I put them in my pocket, and I ate them in the playground even though I'm not allowed to. That's the worst thing I've ever done.
Wow.
And
So-
I
You
still feel
madman.
remorse.
Really?
You're such a badass kid.
Did you only do that once?
Actually, no. There's actually more to that because I used to do that all the time until to the point where the lunch lady would search my pockets for it because I
Lol.
wasn't allowed to eat it
You
in the playground
madman.
because of
In
You're a repeat offender.
in
I know.
like all throughout
Rule
like
breaker.
elementary school, middle school, and high school, I like you could buy lunch at school, and lunch came with like a roll, and you would like take your tray and you would go through the thing and you would take one item from each thing, and like the first station was like rolls. And I would just go and like take rolls all the time. I would start in the line, get in the line, take a roll, and then leave the line and go back to my seat. And like I just did this like for so long because I loved that bread. I fucking loved
It's great.
that
That bread was so good,
It
dude.
was so like
good.
doughy and just like
Yeah,
powdery
yeah.
and just like it's just so succulent. And like people would always tell me like, Ben, you're just stealing there. And I would be like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Like for a while, I tried to justify like, no, the roll's not actually lunch. Like it's not a part. It's like its own thing. It's just like a thing that comes with lunch. I don't have to really buy it. But eventually, I was
Adjacent
just
to
like,
lunch is not lunch. Let's be
yeah.
serious.
Eventually, I was just like, I just want it, and I don't want to pay for it, so I'm gonna take it
Yep.
because I think I deserve to have the things that I want without paying for them. I think
That's
that
how I feel about pirating games.
Yeah.
I just do it. I don't care. I do not care. Yep.
All right.
Does Tom want to
That's it.
share a story? Are you a bad person too, Tom?
Let's see. I think my story's kind of similar to Mage, I think, but I don't know. Is like taking advantage of stupid people really a crime? I don't know.
Oh,
because
good question.
Nah.
what I did is that back in the day when Pokemon cards were a huge
You made a
thing,
Patreon.
well, that was a terrible mistake, as you can clearly see. Now all my passions become about the money. No. So Pokemon cards were a big thing, and I didn't have any Pokemon cards. But what I did have at the time,
what's a boy to do?
exactly, it was a big problem. So the only things that I had that even slightly resemble Pokemon cards, I remember like back when before anyone knew what Pokemon was, Kentucky Fried Chicken had little like kids meals that came with Pokemon stuff, and one of them was a deck of playing cards, like just like regular deck of cards that had Pokemon on them. I don't know how this worked, but I had the brilliant idea of writing in Sharpie just like fake stats and moves on all these
Holy
Pokemon cards,
shit.
and then traded them to people for real Pokemon
Oh my
cards.
God.
And it worked.
That's
But
their fault. That is their
And
fault.
then-
Wait,
What are
wait,
they
wait,
doing?
what did you trade them for Pokemon cards?
It was just like from KFC, like, you know, they get like they have like kids meals that come with little toys. It was a deck of like playing cards like Ace and Five of Clubs and shit like that. But I just wrote in marker Pokemon moves on them and traded them to people for real Pokemon
shit.
cards.
Weird.
And it worked. Okay, but I got advanced later. A couple years later, like the third set or something came out, and my neighbor at the time, who was a dick and we hated him, but we had to hang out with him because he was the only kid in the neighborhood. He had Lieutenant Surge Raichu, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. And I was like, I want this fucking card, and he wouldn't trade for it. So me and my sister devised the perfect plan to get it from it because he was an idiot. What we did is we went home, we went on my dad's computer, and we looked up an image of the card, and I drew
Yes.
it on a piece of paper. And then
it.
I drew it. I copied it down as like in like crayon and pencil and whatever. And then we went to his house and we convinced him that it was the original card that they eventually made copies of, and traded him the fake one for the real one, and it worked. It was amazing.
Oh my God. That's the ultimate my dad works for a Nintendo story. That's the ultimate.
That's crazy that worked.
So you have a literal history of forgery.
I do.
Yep.
I'm
I
working
know,
on
that's
drawing
a
my
good story.
$100 bill right now. Gonna go down to the bank, and it's gonna be great.
In crayon, of course.
Yes, exactly.
That's
It worked,
fucking
apparently.
awesome. No, those people all deserved it. They all deserved it. I don't care.
Crayons should die. Why do we have crayons?
Yeah.
Good question.
Crayons are great.
I
I,
mean,
want crayons
There
right
are
now.
there are good crayons, but they're not the kind you're accustomed to. You know,
Yeah.
like pastels are technically crayons, I think, aren't they? I'm talking like,
I
but
think
like.
I think
Oil
so.
pastels.
If they're not called crayons, they're not crayons, my friend.
Crayon
God
is the
damn it.
brand.
Well, squares are rectangles. Maybe pastels are crayons. I don't know.
Squares were rectangles. They wouldn't.
Okay,
be
well,
called
before we go
squares.
for another 3 hours on this,
This is
crayons
some deep
conundrum,
shit, man.
this crayons conundrum. Let's wrap this up. So, everybody, send us more questions at TP Crastinators. We do this on Saturday. That's where we'll be posting, and we answer those questions. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See you later, everybody.
I'm supposed to